All right, guys. So UTSA brought in five guys last week who committed to UTSA. There's a few of them that will be on campus immediately, and there's a couple who have just committed and they're hard commits, and they'll be joining sometime in the near future. I wanted to take some time and digest those and do some research and look into each of these guys' situation on why they transferred, what they can be bringing to the program, and how they can contribute to the UTSA football team this upcoming season, and then potentially some of these guys who might be able to come in and, it may take them a while to get going, right? So I wanted to dive into that particular part. Obviously, I will start out with the big one. Obviously, it's a thing we've been talking about on this channel for a very long time. The quarterback position. I've done just multiple videos just talking about the quarterback position and how I believe that UTSA should go in and get an experienced quarterback to help elevate that quarterback room so we can get the best competition from a quarterback standpoint that we can get, and give ourselves, whether that is the guys we already have or the new guy that we bring in, just give ourselves an opportunity to raise that level and make sure that we choose the right guy. And whenever that guy does step on the field, he's going to be performing at a level that can give us an opportunity to compete for conference championships, right? So that's one of the things I've been really big on, and we were able to do that to a degree. But once I start to look at it a little bit deeper, I still think this wasn't the preferred move for UTSA in terms of they probably wanted to get a guy with a bit more experience at a higher program or something like that. But I don't think that they missed the boat here at all. I think what Demetrius Davis brings into UTSA is someone with a different profile than the quarterbacks that we already have, right? He is your dual threat running quarterback who can improvise and he can extend plays and create havoc for defenses, right? He also can throw the ball pretty accurately. I like his long ball. I think he can throw good shots down the field. Coach Traylor has talked about how with these new receiver profiles that he has, these guys are a lot more straight line speed, and are going to be able to stretch the field in a way that we haven't been in years past, based on the skill set that the guys that we've brought in are able to put out on the field. And I think that whenever you look at a player like a Demetrius Davis coming into UTSA, whenever you have those receivers that are going out deep, you need someone with deep ball accuracy, obviously, but you also need someone who can extend plays if the offensive line is not holding up or something like that, or if blitzes are coming, someone who can improvise and put the defense on their heels because of his legs. I also think it was important to bring a profile quarterback in like that because he represents a lot of what Frank Harris was able to put on the field. Now, Frank Harris was a really good passer as well, and he really developed into a consistent passer over the course of his career, which is why he has every UTSA record known to man. But one of the things that made Frank so dynamic was what he could do with his legs, was his ability to improvise and turn something out of nothing, whenever the team needed him to do that, right? But one thing I really liked about Frank was he was really good at improvising, but also finding the receiver down the field, which I think Davis is going to have to develop at some of that. Now, listen, if you go look on paper, he doesn't look like a world beater coming in. In high school, he was coming from North Shore, which is a powerhouse high school. Denver Harris is from there as well. And we have a few other guys who's within the program at the moment. I think David Amador is from there as well. And I think the passing game coordinator that we have on our coaching staff is also a descendant from that program. So, there's similarities and things there. But anyway, whenever you look at his numbers from a college standpoint, they're not great. I think he threw at Alabama State, he threw for, I think, 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, which isn't great. He was a pretty good runner. Obviously, I think you've seen that. You can really see when you look at the numbers, you see that he's a dual threat guy. So the thing about him is he is not a finished product. There's still some development. I think he does have 2 years of eligibility. So in my opinion, you bring in a guy with that particular profile because of what that can mean for the play callers and what position they feel like they can put him in, So I think that is the most important part here. Don't necessarily look at the numbers that he put up prior to coming to UTSA because you're not going to find anything that's going to knock your socks off. But what you will find is someone who fits a profile of a quarterback that has succeeded at UTSA. We've been very good with dual threat guys. You look at what Dalton Stern was able to do when he was here prior to Frank Harris, and then obviously what Frank Harris has been able to do. So he has a bit more mobility about him than a McCown or than a Eddie Lee Marburger. So I think that's a good thing to bring into the team. That brings in a diversity, and it also gives our coach and our OC the proper time and the ability to take their time and making their decision in terms of where they want to take the offense and who they want to lead the offense. So I will say that I don't necessarily expect him to come in, grasp the playbook, and then go in and win a position battle in camp. Here's the thing. Here's what you got to think about, and think about just how difficult that is. He's coming in May, May basically in the summer, right? He's going to be able to come in, talk to the coaches. They're going to give him a playbook. They're going to have him in meeting rooms all day, making sure he understands the plays and understands stuff like that. He's going to get to do some 7-on-7 here in the summer with the guys and trying to get to know the guys and get to understand how guys like to pass the ball. But it's a completely different ball game when you put on pads, right? Guys are, some guys are completely different outside of pass than when they do have pass. Their catch radius is not as wide when they have pads on, right? Because, and you guys will be surprised at how big of a deal that is, whenever guys are trying to get ready to prepare for a season. There's an adjustment period there. But then also being in there and making sure you're in command of the entire offense and trying to, grasp this playbook, go through all of your checks prior to the play starting, and then when a play does start going through from progression 1 through 3, can he scan this side of the field and whip his head back this side of the field and expect his receiver to be running the backside dig so he can hit him right beyond the linebacker? Like, those are the sort of things that are going to be, difficult for a quarterback to come in and just grasp in a couple of months. It's going to be really difficult. So I say all that to say I don't necessarily think that he's going to be a huge player in terms of who starts game one. But here's where I think will be where he comes in and what gives him the best chance to play in the first year. And I don't want this to happen, but I'm just thinking about the most likely scenario for a quarterback in that position to come in and get, game time relatively early. Number one, if there's some sort of injury, which honestly is a big possibility when you just think about it over the course of a season. We always see folks get hurt for a game or two or something like that. So he can find an opportunity there, and then at that point you never know what happens. But then also, what if UTSA stutters out the blocks and we don't look well early in the season and our offense isn't producing? Well, we do know how to produce with a running quarterback, right? Or a quarterback that sort of has that. If you can simplify some of the reads and we can lean on that running game a little bit, you could create a situation to where it would make sense, right, for him to be, looped in and get an opportunity to play. So anyway, I think overall I'll sum up the quarterback portion of this is I think it was good to bring a guy in. We probably didn't get exactly what we wanted, but I do think in terms of the profile of player that we got, I think it bolsters UTSA's options, and it's a win-win for everybody, including Demontres Davis, and I'm happy to have him become a road runner. Now, the second one I want to go to, and I want to talk about this one specifically because I want to talk about this one specifically because I seen a lot on Twitter. about this guy might be able to come in and start immediately. And I'm talking about Blackshire. I believe that's how I could be saying is Blackshire or Blackshire. I I don't, if I'm butchering that, I'm sorry, but Kendrick Blackshire or Blackshire. He's coming in from UT. He was previously spent, I believe, 3 years at Alabama. He went to UT, seeing that he wasn't winning the position battles to come in and get a starting spot at UT. So he decided to enter the portal again, and he's falling at UTSA. And I think from a size standpoint, I think he is intriguing for a lot of guys. He's a big athletic dude. I think he's six, I think he's I'll look at what they have him listed on Inside Running Sports here. Shout out to my man JJ. Kendrick Blackshire, 6'2", they have him listed at 261 pounds. Really big guy, athletic guy. He was really good. I believe he came out of Mesquite Horn. So really good, obviously huge season in high school, and he was he had offers from all over the country, LSU, Georgia, Miami, I believe, and he ended up at Bama. And now, things didn't work out there. He ends up here from way of Texas. Here's what I'll say. So at Bama, he was predominantly special teams for the 3 years he was there. He rarely got in at linebacker and played any linebacker. So you got to take that into consideration. He couldn't win the job at UT, and now he's coming to UTSA. Here's what I'll say about that. I hope he comes in and he's able to contribute. I think our linebacking core, especially if he can rush the passer really well, I think that'll be good because you need guys that's coming into the rotation that'll be able to do that. I think from an athletic ability standpoint, I am hoping that our guys at UTSA can get the best out of him, and whatever that is, I like, whether that's special teams or whether that's him coming in as a package guy that's getting him opportunities to go in and make plays or whatever the case may be. I hope he can come in and do a job, and I hope it's a good landing spot for him. He clearly wants to finish his college career on a high note, and he wants to play. That's exactly what it is. So I will say that there's two ways I look at this. Number one, UTSA getting him in general shows that, hey, there is room for you to come in and play. We're probably going to involve you in our plans. Now, what does that mean? Is he going to be a starter and he's going to come in and start day one? Or does that mean he's going to be a rotation package guy that, if you're hot, we're going to roll with you. But if not, we're going to, rotate you in and out, right? So I think that's probably one of the most likely situations for him. Just because he did come from these huge schools does not mean he's going to come onto a UTSA team and going to come in and start. So I think a lot of guys should pump the brakes and give the kid a break, number one, and not put so much pressure on him. I think he's already under a lot of pressure. You just look at the situation. He didn't get to play at Alabama. Didn't see good light there. He goes to UT for a couple of months to do spring ball, and it didn't work out there. And now he's at UTSA, which is going to be another tough situation for him. Think about it. He's coming in. He has the same situation as Demontres Davis here. And this dude, he's playing linebacker. At least Davis is going to have the ability to get in with his team and do 7-on-7, and he can work on passing the football, right? He can even work on with his team handoffs and things like that. But Kendrick Blackshire here, it's going to be hard for him to really, really be able to establish a connection. He's going to learn the defense, learn his drops, learn where he probably should fit, run fit and that sort of thing. Or if he's rushing off the edge, he'll, learn, when to go and stuff like that. But like being able to prove himself, he's going to have a couple of weeks in camp to prove himself to see if he can make it into that the rotation. So it's going to be tough for him, but he is a guy who's uber talented that if he starts out well as they rotate him in, he could end up being a starter throughout the season. So only time will tell on him, but I just think we should be patient with him and give him an opportunity to get settled, get comfortable, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I'm excited about him coming on, and I'm excited about what he could bring to the UTSA Roadrunner defense. I think we're going to need bodies. We're going to need bodies on defense, and we're going to need fresh legs, especially in the position that he's playing. So I'm excited about the pickup. I think it was necessary for us to get it. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he can do. Moving on to Bryson Darnell. He comes in from Texas Tech, running back. The cool thing about him is, I'm always going to say this, but he was a 3-star out of Tyler, Texas. So mad respect for him. You got to also understand too. He went to what's called Tyler Legacy now. It used to be called Robert E. Lee up in Tyler. When I was out there, they were our biggest rivals, by the way. But anyway, Coach Traylor's brother used to coach at Robert E. Lee, so he has relationships. They have relationships with all these guys over here in Tyler. He knows who the GoDaddies are in that space, and this guy is a really good player. He's coming in to beef up our running back room. I think he might have 2 or 3 years of eligibility. What's weird is I can just be honest with you guys and tell you, like, it's so hard when these guys transfer to figure out how much eligibility they have. And it's just something I do not have a knack for yet. So I think he has 2 or 3 years, I believe, of eligibility. So he may not be a guy that he doesn't have to come in and immediately be in that 3-back rotation that we have. He doesn't have to be there. But if a back goes down, I'm sure he's going to get his opportunity. He's versatile. He can do a lot with the football. He has good size on him. He's been at Texas Tech, and I think that means something, right? I am one of these people here. I don't put too much in the. I don't put a ton in just because a player comes from a big school. They're going to be great here at UTSA. What I will say is the development from that you get at these bigger schools is what in my opinion really is valuable. Like I think about Blackshear coming from, he was at Alabama for 3 years. He's been in that program, maybe not winning those position battles, but with NFL guy after NFL guy after NFL guy. So he knows what it takes. He's seen it at the highest level. He knows exactly what it takes to be successful. And I think that experience and somebody who's chomping at the bit to try to put try to go out with a bang as they exit their college career, I think these guys are going to be hungry. And I think Bryson Darnell is going to be one of those guys that's going to be hungry as well. So yeah, I'm excited about him. I'm also sort of intrigued to understand, UTSA's running back room situation, considering that we have 3 backs that have been great. We already had guys in the backfield that's coming in. It's kind of interesting to see that we hit the running back position, because going to the next guy that we brought in, Frankie Arthur, who is, I believe he's coming out of Conroe, Texas, out of high school. He's a 4-star recruit. Interesting that he chose UTSA, and I'm just wondering, how did we get a 4-star running back to commit to us, considering what we have, and the fact that we just brought in a guy from Texas Tech. That's interesting to me. So I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, listen, us getting 4 stars is great. And they're 4 stars. I'm using the stuff from Inside Runner Sports. Maybe they're not 4 stars other places, but 4-star at Inside Runner Sports. So I'm going off that. The one guy, and I thought he was going to be someone who was going to be able to immediately come in, but I talked about this a little bit on Twitter. Tyen Milton, a cornerback coming out of Fullerton College, junior college. I really, really liked what I seen from him on film. Listen, just playing the position, playing corner, all my life. I didn't play corner just in high school. I played corner, for when I was younger. I played corner in middle school. So anyway, looking at what he's shown on film, I see exactly why they got him. That dude's gonna catch interceptions. He's aggressive at the point of attack. He has the instincts to trigger whenever he sees something. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something right now. That is not easy. I want to be very clear about that. That is not easy to do. Whenever, going out on a limb, and it's not even going out on a limb, but really, really deeply trusting and having conviction about what you see throughout the course of a play and being able to react on it with no hesitation, that dude's going to, mark my words, assuming he can get on a field for UTSA, He's going to be an interception merchant. I can guarantee you. I'm really excited about him coming in. I think he's going to beef up that. And I like the corners that we've gotten so far. That's transferred in, that we've recruited and stuff like that. So I'm happy about that. This dude adds to that. He adds to that 100%. I like what I've seen from him at that cornerback position. So I'm really excited about the 5 guys we brought in. So I think I'm going to wrap there. I actually went a little longer than I thought I was going to go, which is all good. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you are new here, like this video as well. Get those likes up, and also join the channel if you want to support the channel for a very small fee per month. That would be great, and that would be helpful for the channel and propel us forward as well. I also have some stuff that I'm working on right now that could bolster UTSA sports coverage, so cross your fingers for your boy on that. But we will connect live probably sometime next week unless something big drops over the weekend. I have an obligation later on today that's preventing me from going live today, but had to drop something for you guys on these recruiting stuff. Get your comments in the bottom of this video. Peace. See y'all when I see you.